Welcome to History in Flames. Empires rise and fall, the past comes alive in fire and ash. Subscribe and relive the stories that shaped the world. Friedrich Paulus was not a typical battlefield commander. He was not known for bold maneuvers, dramatic speeches, or personal charisma. He was a staff officer, trained in planning, coordination, and logistics. Before Stalingrad, Paulus spent much of his career behind desks, not at the front. He understood operations on paper, believed in structure, discipline, and procedure. A functioning command system, these are strengths. But war does not reward perfection on paper. It rewards judgment under pressure. And Stalingrad was not a staff problem. It was a crisis that demanded independence. By 1942, Hitler no longer trusted his generals. Officers who questioned orders were dismissed, sidelined, or ignored. Independent thinkers were seen as threats, not assets. What Hitler wanted were commanders who would execute, not debate. Paulus fit that requirement. He was disciplined. He was loyal, followed orders carefully. He was not chosen because he was the best man for chaos. He was chosen because he was predictable. In other words, Paulus was selected not for what Stalingrad required, but for what Hitler demanded. When the German Sixth Army entered Stalingrad, the war was already changing. The initial advance of Operation Barbarossa had failed to deliver a decisive victory. Germany was now fighting a long war it was not prepared for. In Stalingrad, the Sixth Army became trapped in brutal urban combat. Street by street, building by building. Casualties mounted, supplies thinned, momentum slowed. Paulus understood that the situation was deteriorating. But withdrawal required permission, and permission required Berlin. The problem was no longer tactical, it was political. In November 1942, the Red Army launched a massive counteroffensive. Soviet forces did not attack the city head-on. They struck the flanks. Within days, the Sixth Army was encircled. Paulus immediately recognized the danger. The logical response was clear. Break out before the ring closed completely. Paulus requested authorization. Hitler refused. The order was simple and absolute. No retreat. Stalingrad must be held. At that moment, Paulus stopped being a commander, became a caretaker of a trapped army. The most important decision of the battle had been removed from the battlefield. To justify holding Stalingrad, a promise was made. The Luftwaffe would supply the Sixth Army by air. On paper, it looked possible. In reality, it was fantasy. The airlift could not deliver even a fraction of what was required. Weather, distance, Soviet fire, and limited aircraft made success impossible. Paulus knew this. His staff knew this. But acknowledging reality would mean challenging Hitler. And challenging Hitler was no longer an option. Stalingrad was not sustained by aircraft. It was sustained by denial. In January 1943, with defeat inevitable, Hitler promoted Paulus to field marshal. This was not an honor. No German field marshal had ever surrendered. The message was unspoken but unmistakable. Die but do not surrender. This was psychological pressure disguised as prestige. A promotion meant to remove the last remaining option. Paulus understood the meaning perfectly. On January 31st, 1943, Paulus surrendered. By doing so, he saved tens of thousands of lives. History judged him harshly. Germany labeled him a traitor. Others called him weak. But strategy tells a different story. Paulus' surrender was the first autonomous decision he was allowed to make. It did not win the war, but it ended pointless death. Friedrich Paulus was not a great general, but he was not the architect of Stalingrad's destruction. That honor belongs to a system where obedience replaced judgment and ideology replaced reality. Armies do not lose wars only because of enemy strength. They lose wars when leaders deny their commanders the right to decide. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more. Share your thoughts below.